Good day, students. We are going to discuss today the principle or the law of demand and supply. Our learning outcomes, number one, students will be able to comprehend the concept and principle of the law of demand. Students will be able to comprehend and analyze the law of supply, and students will be able to understand what is equilibrium price. Okay, so let's continue. What is law of supply and demand? The law of supply and demand is the theory that explains the interaction between sellers of resources or resource or goods or product or service and buyers of that resource or product, service or good. So you can see here that this law of supply demand is one of the basic principle of economics. And the law of supply and demand is very useful, and not only you will understand it in theory, but also you can apply it, no, in real life, especially for analysis of what is happening in the country, analysis of your business, analysis why there is a price increase. All right, so this is one of the basic principle of economics and very useful, the principle of supply and demand. Let's see. When we say supply, we are referring to the producers. We are referring to manufacturers. We are referring to entrepreneurs. We are referring to the suppliers. So supply is represented by producers, manufacturers. They are the ones who are manufacturing the product. They are the ones who are manufacturing the goods. Of course, when we say goods in economics, we have product and we have service. Service is intangible, product is tangible. All right? Okay. So, it is clear to know that when we say law of supply, immediately you think of the side of the manufacturer, the side of the entrepreneur, the side of the producer. Okay. So, the law of supply is the microeconomic law that states that all other factors being equal, as the price of the good or service increases, the quantity of goods or service, quantity supplied, no, of goods and service, okay, coming from the suppliers will increase and vice versa. All right, let us try to do an analogy and analysis. This is the chart of the supply curve. The supply curve is going up, okay, because try to remember, because of the two letters here, up, so you will not forget that the graph is going up. Okay, clear? That's your key point. Okay, so immediately, if you are going to take an examination or assessment, you try to think what is the curve for supply. Immediately you will see the two letters up, it is going up. Okay, all right, so here your y-axis is represented by price and your x-axis is represented by quantity supplied. Okay, quantity supplied. Okay, so it states that when the price of a good increases, let's say this one, let's say you are at 2, okay, and then you have to bring it down. So the quantity supplied at this price of, let's say, 2 pesos, example, or 200 or 2,000, let's say at the price of 2,000 pesos, the quantity supplied is basically 2.75 pieces. Let's say 2.75, let's say that is quantity supplied. Okay, now this is P1. Okay, so this is 2.75 pieces is the only quantity that producers and manufacturers are interested to supply the market. But once, okay, the price increases at 4, okay, and the quantity supplied is 5 pieces. Meaning to say, the law of supply says that as the price goes up, the producers and manufacturers supplies the product or the service more, rather than the quantity supplied is less when the price is reduced. So that is the principle of supply. And again, the curve is going up because of this up. Alright? Now, let's say, the next P2, the next P3, let's say is 4.5. No? This is the new P3. Okay? So P3, the quantity supplied is maybe 5.5 pieces. Look at that. As the price goes up, the producer, the manufacturer, the entrepreneur, the business, the company is very much interested to produce a lot of product and goods because the price is higher. Rather than they are reluctant to produce, okay, a certain quantity if the price is high, is low. Example 1, look at that. The quantity supply is 1.8 pieces only. Not unlike, even though if you go to 5, no, okay, and the intersection here, maybe this is already 6, okay. So the theory of the law of supply, that all other factors being equal, the higher the price, the more quantity is supplied. The lower the price, the less quantity is supplied. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. This one is the demand curve. Here, it is the opposite. If the supply is going up, this one is going down. So, you will not be mistaken. Alright, what does the law of demand says? The law of demand states that if all other factors remain equal, the higher the price of good, the less people will demand that good. Okay? Now, let us try to explain that. So, the law of demand says that if, for example, the demand is for the consumers. This is for the consumers, customers, okay? Consumers, customers, that is, when you talk about the law of demand, you talk about the side of the consumer, the customer, the market, no? The client, all right? Whatever synonym you think of, it is in the side of the customer, the demand. Not unlike the side of the supply, it is on the side of the producer, manufacturer, producer. Okay? So, let's try to give an example here. Okay. Let's say at price of 4 pesos. Okay? Look at that. It is, the quantity is 2. Meaning to say, at the price of 4 pesos, the customer's demand is only lesser. Okay? But if you bring down P1 to P2, let's say we have P2 at 3, look what will happen. That quantity, sorry for my handwriting, the quantity demanded increases. Look, if we are going to put P3 here at this point, look at that, no? The quantity demanded by the customer, this is quantity demanded. The quantity demanded by the consumer as the price gets lower increases. But as the price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. All right. So let's put this in another example. Let's say the supply of rice. No, let's take a classical example, the face mask. No, during the month of March, April, and May, the face mask, the supply is less than the demand. So the price is higher. If the supply is greater than demand, the price is lower. Okay. Look at what happened, no? One box of face mask in Blooming Treat, Santa Cruz, Manila before was just probably 100 pesos. But because of there is less demand, no? Because manufacturers cannot produce because we are inside the enhanced community quarantine, no? A lot of businesses were locked down, okay? So in a month or two, that is our situation. So there were less supply of face masks, but the demand was so great that there is less supply. So this some of the entrepreneurs, some of the businessmen exploit the situation. They sold the face masks at a higher price. Why? Because the supply is less than the demand. Same is true with alcohol, no? The 70%, no? Alcohol, no? These are the commodities, essential commodities at that point in time wherein this businessman exploited the situation because there is greater demand than the supply, so they increase the price. That is good. There is an intervention of the government, which is the Department of Trade and Industry, who monitored, no, these businesses who are trying to take advantage of the situation. Okay. Now let's go to a national economic issue, which is the supply of rice that happened probably 8 months ago, no, wherein the supply of local rice, no, in the Philippines is lesser because, you know, the Filipinos would like to eat cooked rice morning, lunch, and dinner. So the demand is so great that the local produce is not enough to supply the Filipino demand in rice. So the intervention of the government was to import rice coming from Thailand, coming from Malaysia, coming from Taiwan, no, at a higher price. At a lower price. But because there are imported products that is coming in the Philippines at a lower price, our local produce cannot compete with that price. So the Filipinos will follow the law of demand. The lower the price, okay, the more quantity is demanded by the Filipinos that will go to the business with a lower price. That is how beautiful the supply and demand is. Now, if, for example, there is here an opportunity cost, no? So the opportunity cost is defined as the foregone benefit that would have been derived by an option. Okay? So, meaning to say, whether you are in the supply and in the demand, you have both an opportunity cost or the benefit that was foregone. Okay? Alright. Now, this equilibrium price is defined as that intersection here wherein the demand and the supply intersect with this. Let me change the color. That is the intersection. Meaning to say, equilibrium, all right? Equilibrium price is where the supply of goods matches the demand. They are equal. They are balanced. That's why it is called equilibrium. And equilibrium is the state in which market supply and demand balance each other, and as a result, prices become stable. And this is what every businesses is aspiring. No exploitation, no taking advantage. Everything is normal, everything is equal. So therefore, right? Let me just add one more. What is the formula for revenues? The formula for revenues is equal to price times the quantity. So meaning to say, if this is the price, if you are talking of the supply, okay, and this is the quantity, right? This one is the revenues, right? Now, if the price goes here and the quantity is here, this is the revenues. So, this portion is the added revenue when the price increases. Same is true in the demand curve. No? If this is the quantity and this is, if this is the price, this is the quantity, this is the revenue. Okay? But if the price is lower, okay, this is the quantity or the revenue. All right? So therefore, revenue is equal to price times the quantity. So that ends my tutorial video. Thank you for listening. And if you are new to this video, please subscribe, like my channel. And thank you very much. And I'll see you next time.